and we will begin our meetings. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Administration, Operations, and Budget Committee of Tuesday, July 22nd. We'll begin the agenda with the minutes from the previous meeting of June 24, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll move the minutes, Madam Chair.
Been moved and second. Any discussion or changes, corrections? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have several new business items. They're routine, a couple of them. Item 2A is to establish a 2026 premium rates for self-insured dental care program applicable to employees, eligible dependents, and retirees. We see this often. Does anyone want further explanation? I'll ask for a motion then.
I'll move it.
Been moved and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2B is to negotiate amendment to reciprocal use agreement with North Point Health and Wellness, Inc. for space within the North Point Health and Wellness Center at 1313 Penn Avenue, North Minneapolis.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Do I have a second? Anyone want any discussion on this one? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2C is a discussion item. Approve a minor plan amendment to the Elm Creek Watershed Management Plan, set Elm Creek Watershed Management Commission 2026 max levy at $630,000 for projects to improve the water quality. I'll move this. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh,
Does anybody want information on this item, or do we want further
I'll
explanation?
just make a comment.
Please.
Just want to thank all of the watersheds. I see a number of them coming forward here. For those watching at home, this body has the privilege of approving these items. However, it is a separate body, typically for each watershed, that is working directly with their impacted area and usually developing pretty robust multi-year water management plans. So for those watching at home, these are us approving what has come recommended through the statutory process, and want to extend our gratitude to the watershed board members. This is writ large for all of the items. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, they do great work. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And so the next two items are also watershed. Item 2D, it's set Bassett Creek Watershed Commission 2026 max and levy at $2,500,000 and some odd dollars to projects to improve water quality and reduce flooding. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Anyone want any background on this one? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Set Shingle Creek Watershed Management Commission 2026 max levy at $848,400 and West Mississippi Watershed Management Commission 2026 tax levy at $106,050 for projects to improve water quality. I'll move this. Do I have a second? Anybody want explanations? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have several addendums to modify agreements with HUD for 2025 home, starting 7/1 of 25 through 6/30 of 30, increasing the receivable to over $1.5 million. Negotiate award modifications starting 7/1 of 25, going to 6/30/70, not to exceed just over $385,000. To negotiate an amendment to an agreement with St. Louis Park HRA, starting 7/1 of 24 through 6/30 of 69, and not to exceed of $495,000. Do I have a motion for this?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Can we have a brief explanation on just some of the changes?
Sure. Commissioners, Julia Welliers is here to present these
Ms.
next two
Welliers,
items.
welcome.
Thank you, Chair Gotell. Commissioners, Julia Welly Ayers from Housing and Economic Development. This request acknowledges the final grant amount for our program year 2025 home grant. As outlined in our action plan, the additional grant funds are directed to our Stable Home program. This Stable Home program provides ongoing tenant-based rental assistance to 45 families referred from the Housing Stability Department of Hennepin County in partnership with other Health and Human Services departments. Amending the program year 2024 home award for Stable Home will fund the essential administration costs for this program that we couldn't cover with last year's grant. So these modifications will ensure continuity of the tenant-based rental assistance for these 45 low-income families. Thank you.
Great work. That's so wonderful to hear. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2G is to negotiate amendment to an agreement with Tasks Unlimited Lodges, add 3 properties, amend the real estate-related documents, extend the term to 12/19 of 30, and increase the not to exceed to just over $538,000. I'll move this. Do I have a second? Please, you want me to ask for a brief explanation first and then ask your questions? Go ahead. Commissioner, put your mic on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I guess with Ms. Willis-Ayers, if she could just, I know in the news, supportive housing, some of the vendors are getting a lot of, there's a lot of investigations going on. And I just think in terms of, I know the county has a lot of practices that we do to make sure that we are protecting taxpayer funding. If you could just explain, like, do we do on-site visits, things like that, just to make sure that these services actually are being delivered when we're contracting with someone like Tasks Unlimited.
Ms. Williers, will you give a quick synopsis first? Thank you.
Chair Guttel, Commissioners, the quick synopsis is in the 1990s, the county provided these 4 home loans totaling $538,000 to Tasks Unlimited to acquire and rehabilitate the 4 properties in Richfield and Bloomington. Per the loans, Tasks use these properties to support employment, housing, and recovery services for people diagnosed with severe or persistent mental illness or struggling with addiction. As noted in the request, some of the original residents from the late 1900s still live there today with their found family. So this action is consolidating the 4 loans and then extending the term to 2030. Commissioner Edelson, per your question, this funding is specifically towards the capital portion of the project, acquisition and rehab, and then the income requirements. The services funding, I'd have to refer to our partners in human services regarding what the services funding is and the oversight. Our compliance from housing and economic development is limited to reporting on the income and the quality of the physical plant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Item 2, all those in favor signify by, you had one? Please, go ahead.
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. The late 1900s threw me for a minute, but just going to accept that is the reality that we are in. This is one of many programs that I very much appreciate and love. And we've been doing this for a very long time. We are taking homes and rehabbing them for people to live in who otherwise may not have access to places. And I am just places to live and call home that are dignified. I am a big fan of rehabbing homes, of the work that Tasks Unlimited does in this arena around acquisition and rehabilitation, making them suitable and dignified, I think is the word that I'm going to stick with, for living for people who need it. So I shout about this a lot and think that more counties need to invest in this type of work where we are partnered with a trusted organization to take dilapidated homes, dilapidated buildings and structures and turn them into suitable, dignified housing. So I'm just appreciative of this. Thank you.
I am too. One of these homes actually is in my neighborhood. So, and the people there are wonderful. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2H is to negotiate agreement with Region 8 Education Service Center, the Interlocal Purchasing Agreement TIPS Purchasing Cooperative, to allow Hennepin County membership in the National Purchasing Cooperative at no cost to the county. I'll move this.
I'll second.
I like no cost. This is wonderful. Does anybody have any questions about this? This is just a great thing to do. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2I, the last item, is to negotiate agreement with Public Promise Procurement to allow Hennepin County membership in the National Purchasing Cooperative at no cost to the county.
I'll move this.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And that is the totality of our agenda. Call is adjourned.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll call to order the Health Committee on this Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. The first item of business for us today is to approve the minutes from June 3rd, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Minutes have been moved and seconded. Any corrections or comments on the minutes? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have passed. We have one item of business before us today. This is a routine item. 2A is an amendment to an agreement with the National Health Care for the Homeless Council for the Health Care for the Homeless program. We're just extending the end date to December 23rd to December 31st of 2025. There is no change to the NTE. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Item has been moved and seconded. Would anyone like a refresher on what this item does? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item passes. That concludes our agenda, and I'll declare us adjourned. Thank you.
I'll call to order the Human Services Committee. It's Tuesday, July 22nd. It is 2:15, and I am Chair Heather Edelson. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from July 24th. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Madam
Aye.
Chair, June 24,
What did I say?
July, just for
Oh,
the
I did.
verbal
Thank you.
record.
I know. I
Okay.
apologize. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. So let me amend that. So June 24th.
Friendly amendment.
Yes, thank you. That would be helpful. July 24th hasn't happened yet. Okay, so we will move the minutes with this. It's been moved and seconded then? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, for June 24th. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. We have 4 routine items before us today. If I could have a motion to move items 2A through 2D.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. I will now read the items into the record. Item 2A is a Human Services and Public Health Resolution, including contracts and amendments to contracts with a provider. More information is outlined in the Human Services and Public Health Contract Report 2510. Item 2B is an amendment to the Joint Powers Agreement with the City of Bloomington to modify existing services for the Hennepin County Embedded Social Worker Program. This amendment would update an agreement to language to reduce 1 FTE and associated cost. 1 FTE will continue to be available through the updated JPA. Item 2C is a joint powers agreement with the State of Minnesota Department of Veteran Affairs to provide direct services to address income needs of homeless veterans during the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, with a receivable amount of $100,000. Item 2D is a joint powers agreement with the Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs for mutual cooperation, accepting funding from the state in order to serve veterans experiencing homelessness during the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, in the receivable amount of $300,000. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Gattel.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to say, first of all, I hear from the city of Bloomington. I meet with them regularly, and they always sing the praises of this great program from Hennepin County. And I can't thank you enough, because I know we're doing it, through all our cities, but I hear especially from them a lot. And so just thank you for that. And then I'm just really excited to see us with a one full-time equivalent and the dollars that we're spending to keep our veterans housed, and so that we keep that designation of zero homelessness for our vets. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gattel. Commissioner Anderson, did you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just echoing the excitement to see that the continued partnership with the VA is continuing, and making sure that we're taking care of and finding the resources needed in order to care for our veterans experiencing homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was going to say the same things. And that's that, one of the things that I appreciate is that when we talk about how Hennepin County has effectively ended veterans homelessness, we also include the fact that the work does not stop there, that we still have veterans who may be on the verge or precariously housed. And so continuing this work with the partnership with the VA, another staff person, receiving dollars to do this just means that we can continue on taking care of our veterans. And that's it's a very, very special work. We do it very well, and I want to continue to do it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right. Well, yeah, you guys have done a great job long before I got here on investing in our veterans. So well done. There being no further questions or comments, we will move to a vote. All those in favor of approving items 2A through 2D, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. That concludes the Human Services Committee. We are adjourned.
I'd like to call today's meeting of the Law, Safety, and Justice Committee to call it in order. We have just a couple items on the agenda. First up is a approval of the minutes from June 24th. If I could get a motion in a second.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any changes, additions, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We have one item, new business, 2A. If I can get a motion in a second, I'll read it into record.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. 2A is an amendment to agreement with Miller and Chevalier Chartered for legal services, extending the end date to 6/30/26, increasing the not to exceed by $150,000. I will turn to Ms. Guzman for background, please.
Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners. I'd like to invite Sarah Davis from the County Attorney's Office to provide background on this item.
Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners. Sarah Davis with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. This is, I've had a chance to connect with each of you about this matter, and this is about adding $150,000 to the not to exceed amount of a contract that already exists for with Miller and Chevalier. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Any questions? The only question I had is maybe expand, I think, about what the services they're providing and what I think brought them, the need for them, please.
Yes, Chair, this is a contract that's about providing legal services, outside counsel to the office in the context of the United States Department of Justice investigation.
Any questions? Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I first want to thank you for taking the time to kind of help lay the groundwork and inform us of the scope of the work and why it's necessary. As was outlined in the description, the kind of the standard practice of making sure that we have outside counsel when navigating these kind of often complex or unique situations that we find ourselves in. I don't think anybody wants to be here, but I appreciate you finding a firm that was under a number of the other proposals, that was cost-effective, responsible with our taxpayer dollars, and hopefully we'll get the job done for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any other questions, comments? I want to thank you as well for conversation this morning, answering questions. I will not be supporting this motion. I understand the why part. I'm just uncomfortable with the tenor of how, not just here, but everywhere, it seems like we are more interested, and I say we, so not singling out the county attorney's office, but everywhere it seems like interested in the fight, whether they agree with the federal government, they don't agree, and we go back and forth. And I feel like I just want to focus on the people that I represent. And I feel like we're just continuing those fights. And so I'm not going to be supporting this. Commissioner Adelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And with this, I am supporting this. And the reason is why is what they're requesting of us. I think we have to have counsel to protect the county. And I think that's really important. Politics should not be at play when we're talking about a prosecutor's office. And unfortunately, some of this is we just can't help having to protect our county. And so I think this is about something much more. It's just making sure that the prosecutor's office is going to be solvent and that it can do the work that it's actually here to do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other further comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That would be nay. The motion does pass. And with that, the agenda of the Law, Safety, and Justice Committee is complete. Declare the meeting adjourned.
I will call to order our Public Works Committee for today. Our first item on the agenda is to approve our minutes from our June 24th meeting. May I have a motion and a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. We have a number of routine items in our new business. Item 2A through 2F. If I could have a motion for the block, I'll have a few comments on a number of them.
So moved.
Thank you. I'll read them into the record. Item 2A is an authorization to request a variance for the Lake Harriet Parkway paving project with state aid project with no county cost in the city of Minneapolis. Item 2B is an agreement with the Hennepin Recycling Group for an organics drop-off grant, period of 8/1/25 to 8/1/27 with a not to exceed of $15,000. Item 2C is to execute a contract with Miller Bend Manufacturing Co. to purchase traffic signal poles for maintenance replacements, an estimated county cost of $2 million from Fund 10. Item 2D is an agreement with MnDOT to accept local bridge I'm going to get that wrong, but LPRP grant funds for bridge number 91131 replacement along CSAH 10 over Twin Lake Creek in Crystal and Brooklyn Center, adjusting our budget for the county to receive just over $82,000. Item 2E is to negotiate an amendment with Three Rivers Park District for CSAH 66 multimodal safety improvements, increase the county not to exceed to $1,048,000 and $138,000 in transportation operations. And item 2F is an agreement with MnDOT to accept federal force account funds for county-supplied signal equipment for CSAH 66 multimodal safety improvements on the same project. I'm sorry, it's a different project, but a sub-project that is the same. County receiving just under $2 million. Do my colleagues have some comments? Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do. Item 2B, I want to talk about just a little bit and maybe get just ask a question around the dollar amount. So 2B is really important. This speaks to organics in our trash, right? We have talked for a few years now about the sheer amount of organics that are in our trash stream and how it is important to take those out and provide resources to, in this instance, Hennepin Recycling Group, to organizations, schools, and other folks. The background talks grants that we have available for multifamily buildings to providing organics drop-off sites. This is a way that we reduce the amount of trash that's in our trash stream in the county. So I think that when I see these items on our agendas, it's proof in the pudding that our zero waste plan is solid and it's strong, and our goal around 90% of diversion is very clear. And we're providing the resources to 45 cities in Hennepin to do that. My question for this particular grant is it's $15,000, and with the dollar amounts that we deal with up here, that seems really, really little. So I'm assuming that this is part of a larger pool of grant dollars that are available to the counties or to cities, to schools, to whoever applies. So if you could speak a little bit to the bucket that this comes out of, and are there RFPs that go out? Like just the process of, if someone is watching at home, I want to recycle my organics too. How do I go to the county to do that?
Chair Conley, let me just share. The reason why this one is before you is Hennepin Recycling Group has previous expenditures. That's why we're bringing that one here. And maybe I would ask Ben Knutson to speak to the broader program and the breadth of the work that we do.
Thank you. Mr. Knutson?
Sure. Thank you, Chair Anderson. Ben Knutson with Environment and Energy. And Commissioner Conley, I share your excitement about this particular grant because it is for the city of Brooklyn Center, which is part of the Hennepin Recycling Group. And if you look around up there, there's not currently an organics drop-off site available. And so we're excited to get that opportunity in place. And it's available for people who don't have access to the city program. So a lot of people living in apartment buildings, and the location will be at Brooklyn Center City Hall. It's next to Centennial Park, the city's most popular park. And it's also next to the Crest Apartments, which have more than 100 affordable housing units. So we're excited to get that site available because one of our zero waste priorities is making sure that every individual has equitable access to zero waste tools. And like you said earlier, this is just one of many actions so that the board has taken to accelerate progress towards zero waste. And I encourage everyone, if you're interested, you can find more information about our implementation efforts in our recycling progress report, which is available online. And that's kind of deviating from just organics drop-off sites here, but you can find our work on food rescue grants, multifamily mattress recycling, community zero waste grants, and much, much more. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Lundy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Less of questions and more comments. Obviously, happy that this grant is going out. I just think back to, our efforts to have a redirect our money from the organics to the sorting facility in Brooklyn Park, and I think some misguided actions by people to sabotage that really has led us to this spot where we need the ability to sort trash. And this is just kind of like I call it a Band-Aid to have this kind of facility. It's a good Band-Aid, but really getting to the spot where people might be able to have a single container or as close to it as we can, which is only possible when you have sorting facilities. And I think, we talk about we will need more than one. We'll probably need two or three. But I do think it's important. And so, people want to get to zero waste. They want to get to where the HERC is shut down. This is just a step, but what we need is the sorting facility. And I think in a lot of communities, I know, especially the Brooklyns in my area, a lot of the apartments are older. They were not built with anything other than one trash receptacle. And so to retrofit recycling was a push. But now if we're talking about organics and other things, it's very difficult in an older apartment to add that in there. And so I think that is something for us to think about is if we continue to get pushback on the sorting facilities, we're going to have to look at ways to put more grants out there so that people own these apartment buildings, and they tend to be smaller family-owned buildings, can retrofit. So, we talked a lot about trash earlier. We listened to a lot. This is one step, and frankly, we won't need the HERC if we can get our trash to the right places and cut down on the amount of waste that is going out to landfills. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Commissioner Fernando.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe 2E and F are both related to the Bassett Creek Regional Trail. So I just wanted to express immense excitement over those two items. This will connect French Regional Park in Plymouth to Theo Worth in Golden Valley. So from a multimodal perspective and just from usability, these are two huge regional assets that happen to be in Districts 2 and 7, but are really enjoyed by people all around. So would love a little bit of timeline if possible. And again, mostly gratitude for both of those items coming before us. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Ernie.
Chair Anderson, I would invite Jason Piper to share some information on timeline related to the delivery of that project.
Thank you, Mr. Piper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I'm Jason Piper in Transportation Project Delivery. Both items are related to the Bassett Creek Regional Trail Project that is planning to begin later this year. And unfortunately, I don't have specific details on the start date, but we'd be more than happy to follow up on the construction timeline.
Thank you. Any other questions or further?
It's nice that it's starting this year. And yeah, I wasn't sure. And of course, updates on the construction timeline is welcome when it's appropriate. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And maybe a ribbon cutting when it's done. Just saying. Thank you. If there are no other comments, I would just want to circle back. Really appreciate the comments on the organics drop-off. I know one of the things that we need to focus on is those multifamily units, because that is probably the hardest place to get organics processing as a part of it. Even new buildings, building a new building that has the capacity for regular garbage, recycling, and organics is really challenging. I've had a number of conversations with builders who just say their designs don't accommodate for it. And so anything that we can do to make sure that we are getting the capacity for organics for the most number of people is a step in absolutely the right direction. And I appreciate us taking these steps to add drop sites and all of the other pieces that was mentioned by Mr. Knudsen. I also, one that was kind of flying under the radar here, to see the contract to purchase traffic signal poles. This is kind of a, like under the radar, but I think we experienced this in 2021, 2021, during the pandemic where supply chains were disrupted and we needed to make sure that we had the materials in place in order to do the work needed to maintain our infrastructure. And with the uncertainty that is currently facing a lot of the components piece of the work that we do, having contracts like this to make sure that we have the resources we need to do it is incredibly responsible, and I appreciate the proactive nature of doing that. So, and then all the other work that we do around our partners with Three Rivers and Minneapolis to make sure that our road projects and trail projects are getting done is always much appreciated. So thank you. With that, all those in favor of the block say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are approved. We have two other items for discussion and action. Item 2G is to negotiate various grant agreements for the Good Stewart Grant Natural Resource Projects. Total combined not to exceed of just over $61,000. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. I know we see these fairly often. If I could have just a brief summary of this.
Chair Anderson, I would ask Karen Gallus to present a brief summary of the excellent opportunities that we will have with those pursuing the grant funding.
Perfect. Thank you. Ms. Gallus.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson and Commissioners. I'm Karen Gallus with Environment and Energy. The resolution before you requests authorization to award natural resources good steward grants. Good steward grants provide financial assistance to residents, neighborhood associations, businesses, and local governments to implement projects that either preserve and restore the county's natural resources or improve water quality. Since 2016, we've awarded about $2.5 million in these types of grants and leveraged $14 million from additional partners and their contributions. This round, we got 35 Good Steward grant applications requesting nearly $500,000 in funding. We are recommending 13 of those projects at just over $230,000 or nearly $230,000 in funding, excuse me. This board action asks you to authorize awards to the cities of Bloomington, Eden Prairie, and the Somali Community Resettlement Service. The total of these grants is $61,442, and in addition, we'll be using administrative processes to award 10 more to bring us up to that $230,000 figure. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commissioners have at this time.
Thank you so much. Do my colleagues have any questions? Always good to see not only us getting the money into the community to do this great work, but leveraging our money to do even more work. So with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. The next item and our final item is to negotiate 12 healthy tree canopy grant agreements with a period of 8/1/25 to 7/31/26, with a grand total not to exceed of $332,731. May I have
Move it.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Cerny.
Chair Anderson, I would invite Dustin Ellis to present on the Healthy Tree Canopy grants.
Perfect. Mr. Ellis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair Anderson and Commissioners. The resolution before you requests authorization to award Healthy Tree Canopy grants. The goals of the program are to combat threats to trees from invasive insects and diseases by funding tree planting activities, educate the public on tree care and the importance of trees, and increase the diversity and resiliency of the tree canopy. This board action asks you to authorize $332,731 in awards to the cities of Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, Champlin, Crystal, Eden Prairie, Golden Valley, Plymouth, the affordable housing provider, AON, and the nonprofits Tree Trust and YMCA, as well as the Minneapolis Special School District 1. In addition, we'll be using administrative process to award another $167,269 in grants to the city of Excelsior and New Hope, the nonprofits Fraser, North Loop Neighborhood Association, Riverwalk Estates, Spark Y, and the Church of St. Edward, and the Trust for Public Land, Vibrant and Safe Downtown, Zincala Luta, and the school districts, Osseo area schools, and the Parnassus Preparatory School. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about any of these projects at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate this tree canopy work, and in taking a look at the map, I wonder, I'm noticing that a lot of the heavy red areas are around our interstate system, and I wondered if there's any work being done, if we know, from MnDOT or the state at all around supporting this initiative, and two, what goals do we have associated with our tree canopy planting? Is it plant 1,000 trees by 2020, 2030? I mean, I don't know, but is there? Do we have goals set? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Commissioner Conley. So we previously have been working with MnDOT, and we have a memorandum of understanding with MnDOT to plant trees along the right-of-ways along the interstates. And last year we completed our first plantings, and we have continued this year to plant those areas as well. And we plan to do so into the future until we have planted all of the areas that we can in these right-of-ways behind the sound walls or any open areas that are suitable for trees. And as far as our goals, we have the ambitious goal of planting 1 million trees by 2030, which we have planted or will, at the end of the year, be right around 576,000 trees.
Excellent.
That is incredible. Can I just follow up real quick?
Yes, of course.
That is incredible. I want a T-shirt that says 1 million trees by 2030. You all know why.
Oh, we should all
so
have them.
thank you for that. Just in regard to the MOU, does MnDOT fund any of it, or is it just an MOU to plant on their land?
This is just an MOU to plant on their land.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Chair Anderson, Commissioner Conley, I will share that when MnDOT does complete projects, part of the conversation, and when I say projects, like transportation-related projects, we definitely have a different conversation around landscaping and tree planting. Just wanted to add that for clarification. And they would fund that, yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Fernando.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know we have a climate briefing on Thursday, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'll save some minutes there by speaking here. 2 comments. It would be interesting. I love this work. We already know that part. It'd be interesting to intersect flood mitigation directly with where we've planted trees. So one of the most important aspects from my perspective for a mature tree is the stormwater infrastructure, particularly with the climate patterns that we're seeing nationally and just in general, a need for greater climate resiliency. Would be interested in that. The second aspect that I appreciate about trees is, of course, air purification and temperature, I guess, in either keeping the warm in or keeping the cool in. I've been seeing some interesting technology with respect to moss, and so I'm intrigued, just again, for the team. It seems as though there are newer rounds of research that are discussing kind of the air and temperature regulation that moss can provide. Obviously not the same from a stormwater perspective, but the progress that I'm seeing here is, it's very somber when you look at the actual climate impacts that we're seeing in our communities. Our temperatures are going way up, and we're honestly just not moving fast enough, even though we're moving at our fastest. So I want to toss moss in there as another consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Guttel.
I just, one of the things that I find so exciting is just the variety of organizations and places that are getting all these trees. But also that one of the cool things that I don't know if we've shared here before is that they're looking at some of the trees that are kind of further south because our zone has changed. So there's pecan trees. I want a pecan tree on my property. There are some really cool varieties of trees that we're planting that could be moved into our area. So that's really ingenious. That's exploring. That's also the resilience we build in there. But then finally, I just want to note that my colleague here, Kevin Anderson, always gets all the really great grants to give away. I want to know how come that happens.
It's because I go out and plant with them. No, I thank you. And it is really amazing what our forestry department is doing, and thank you for highlighting that. Seeing no other comments, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those grants are approved. And with that, that concludes our agenda for today. That's it.